Everybody, my name's Julian, the lead developer for Lens Island. In case you haven't seen me before, this is me. And I've got some good and bad news. I got some updates with the launch, the project timeline, everything. And I thought it'd just be good to address it just one-on-one, properly just talk to you all via video, as it's a bit more personal and I can just properly explain everything rather than just typing out a big message or anything like that. I'll try to keep everything nice and succinct and sort of mention the cliff notes, the important parts right at the start, and then I'll sort of ramble a little bit at the end. I love to yap. I'm a bit of a yapper. I'll save that to the end in case you don't want to hear all of that. But to begin with, there's good and bad news. So the good news is Lens Island is going to be a much bigger, much better game than we originally planned. Overall, like the bar has been raised, and we are hopefully going to exceed your expectations of what will previously be the 1.0 multiplayer launch. A lot of extra stuff, a lot of extra features and stuff it will be on the roadmap once we update it. Second good news is we're opening up a lot more spots for multiplayer testing. So multiplayer testing, the next round will start in the next couple of days. So if you're watching this video, you will actually be able to play Lens Island in just a couple of days, like multiplayer Lens Island with a bunch of new features. It will obviously be super buggy multiplayer sort of testing version, but you can play nonetheless if you're interested, and you can give us a whole bunch of very useful feedback to help make Lens Island the best it can be. The bad news is, as I'm sure you can predict, we won't be able to make our December release. We really tried our absolute hardest, but it was just too rushed. We got to the point where we sort of had to overhaul the entire game from single player to multiplayer over the past year, and we have really worked to the bone just to make that happen. And then now it got to the point where the majority of that work is done, but then all the extra content, the polish, really making multiplayer great, all of that was starting to become very rushed. And I've worked on Lens Island for 7 years. It's my whole life. It's my passion project. I take it really seriously, and I do not want to rush this. I want to make sure I sort of don't do a disservice to all of you, and I really finish what I set out to make in early access, which is deliver a fantastic game that is complete. So in order to make that happen, we need a few more months. We need some extra time. The current plan is maybe around like April or something launch, but I can't lock in anything yet because I don't want to delay it twice. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. So we will just basically work on the game until it's being very, very close to done, and then we will decide on a launch date and update everyone. But well before that, towards the end of this year and start of next year, we will start to showcase a lot of the new features coming, because we have a whole bunch of stuff built in the sort of the back end of the game that you haven't seen yet that is really exciting. And we're going to start showing all of that and really sort of lifting the veil on what we've been working on, because overall it is really, really exciting. We're taking it a lot more seriously. Like we've always taken it seriously, but we're just simply I'm really trying to make sure we do this justice. I don't want to rush it. And I think there's a lot of shortcomings that Lens Island has had throughout development as far as like the game is concerned. I think like story is one of the big ones, and progression. I also see things like control support and accessibility have also been like shortcomings, because we're a tiny dev team. There's basically 4 devs working on the game. It should be probably around a dozen plus developers. So we have to work at like 200% capacity just to simply get it done. So we're really trying our hardest, but it means like sometimes we don't have the time to do that extra stuff that makes the experience more polished, more meaningful. So that's what we want to fix. Like that's part of what we want to really make a lot better for 1.0. We've planned heaps of content, heaps of new features, a lot more depth. But then we're also working on a complete overhauled story, like a proper prologue and intro cinematic, a new sort of antagonist throughout the game, and a lot stronger story elements, and just a more meaningful progression throughout the entire game, as well as obviously a final boss, final dungeon, final cutscene, and really just like tying up the entire Lens Island experience in just like having all the glue in between the gaps, if that makes sense. Feels like Lens Island is a really fun game with a lot of really fun mechanics, but it misses the glue that sort of really binds it all together in a lot of ways. And that's really just because we're a tiny dev team trying to make a huge game with a very small budget. And it's just sort of like we're doing the best we can. But unfortunately, the glue gets done right at the end. And I really want to make sure we get that done right and get it done well. So it will take a bit of time. But I don't look. I could give like a million excuses and reasons why why it's going to take longer. At the end of the day, I am really sorry that it's taken longer. I know a lot of people plan their lives around game launches and stuff, and plan things with their friends on weekends and all of that. I used to plan my weekends around like Call of Duty launches and stuff when I was younger, and I would get pretty upset if they were ever delayed. So I do understand it. It sort of sucks for all of you wanting to play it in December. You can play, obviously, a testing version earlier than that, so I hope that helps a little bit. And then I hope it helps that we will deliver a much better game than we originally set out to deliver. So we will just have to wait a little bit longer. And I am sorry about that. If you hate me and want to just like rage in the comments, feel free. I understand. But hopefully you do understand. You're a bit nice. But either way, I understand. But yeah, we will make a much better game. And you can trust me with that. We need time to cook, all right? Let us developers cook. Let us developers do what we do best. And I guess for us, that is making a really big, complex game under pressure. That apparently is what we do best, and we will continue to do it, and we will deliver. And I'll provide a lot more information, a lot more specifics as we get sort of closer towards the end of this year and then the start of sort of 2025. We're going to be really showcasing a lot of the new content and features and stuff coming, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that none of you know about that is really exciting. We'll update our roadmap probably the new year, like the start of January. We'll properly overhaul the whole roadmap and everything, and make it very, very clear and obvious exactly what multiplayer Lens Island will look like and what we're planning. We just need a bit more time to sort of get over the line, and sort of we're still figuring out some features and tweaking some things. So I just want to make sure we have a really solid idea ourselves before we really show that to all of you and explain more specifically what will be there for the final version of Lens Island. We'll also made a whole building pack as well, and like a DLC that we'll do at 1.02. So that's going to take a little bit of time to finish as well, but along with a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I hope you all understand. And yeah, there is a lot more specifics, a lot more information coming soon. I'm sorry I can't share more information than that just yet. And again, I am sorry, and I will make up for it. Trust me. I will try my absolute hardest. Lens Island is my life. It is all of our lives. Like, it's all we've got, to be honest. I don't know if that's inspiring or sad, but it is. It truly is all we've got. So believe me when I say that, like, we will absolutely try our hardest, because it is our future. The way that we get to continue to make games and live our lives going forward is working on Lens Island. So that's what we will do. But yeah, I hope you have a good day, and stay tuned. Join the Discord, join the multiplayer testing role if you haven't already, to get early access. And yeah, I'll see you all very soon with some more information. Take care, everybody.